Hey, it's Andrew Huang. Welcome to the show. 4 artists are going to be taking the same audio material and using it as the starting point for a new track they create. Maybe it's a remix, maybe it's a whole new thing. My guests this episode are Sarah the Illstrumentalist, Bad Snacks, and Virtual Riot. So I'm going to start by playing you the raw sample that we were working with. This is from my friend Nahre Soul's YouTube channel. She is a phenomenal pianist, but in this video, it's actually her friend Mario who is playing. And Nahre does this whole cool thing where she analyzes it and deciphers it with notes on screen. Here's the little snippet that we decided to use. So Mario's not gonna be in this video. It doesn't seem like he likes being on camera. And according to Nahre, he's just like the type of guy who's really hard to track down. But the rest of us are all gonna hear these awesome sample flips, so let's get into it.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Sarah. What's up, Andrew? Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this. Really quickly, wanted to break down how I made that beat. Step 1, I took the chords and I chopped them up in Serato sample. It was a E. I took it up in F. Sounded really pretty, so I chopped it up. I was messing around with the chorus, so I got... So the next thing I did, I actually have a huge collection of drum breaks. It was actually the very first drum break that I came across that actually sounded perfect. So the cool thing about Native Instruments Machine, there's an option where you can take a sample and you can actually stretch it out to where it actually lines up with the actual tempo of the song. It sounds like this. So the drums were really easy for me. And because I didn't have much time to make this beat, I just added some extra sound effects. I got these 2 sound effects from my Lo-Fi Spaceship Sounds Volume 1. It's on my website, noquantize.com. If you guys want to check it out, it's only $3. But I added this J Dilla siren. Towards the middle of the breakdown, I actually added my homeboy Mark's Damn. Happy birthday, Mark. Oh yeah, and last but not least, I did the live performance of the beat on my SP404 to add even more sound effects. This is what I made within 24 hours. Peace.
Tape warble's good. Ooh. Up.
This is a great groove.
Nice drums.
Yeah.
That low note changes the whole feel.
Just like the right amount of warble. Super fun filter sweeps.
Those filter sweeps.
It's very Sarah.
All the little effects and fills are fun.
Yeah.
Breaking up the loop. This is dope. Instant, like, all hip-hop vibes. This is great.
Snare drum is super snappy. It's great.
This would be super fun to see live too.
Damn. Damn.
Damn.
She has the best little tags.
Nice.
Nice.
That was really tight. I could definitely listen to that drum groove like all day. Hey guys, Bad Snacks here. Super stoked to do this challenge because I think it's the coolest idea in the world. And in this case, we were given like a really pretty piano loop. I wanted to use it as much as I could and make it kind of like the focal point, but also keep the track moving and incorporate other elements. The core of the track is over this chop that I did of kind of like the second half of the section. I chopped the lowest note of the sample here and I made a bass line out of it. I used the pitch modulator to create this like swooping effect, so it sounds like this. And I put all these effects on it. A lot of compression, a lot of dirt, and then I layered it with my Moog so it sounds really beefy. Woo. Yeah. took the one part of the sample that was just one note instead of a chord. And then I just did this little drop. The other way that I used the sample is I used actually that exact same sample here. I put it through an arpeggiator, a ton of compression, Echo Boy from Sound Toys, reverb, and then crazy auto panning. To beef it up, I kind of gave it like an 8-bit effect. In context, who would have thought that something like this would come from a 12-second sample of somebody improvising on piano? The world is your oyster, I think, right? That's the saying. Okay, I'm gonna go now.
Instantly a great feel.
I like this.
Those bells are really beautiful. Oh, this is pretty. This is so pretty.
Stuff's just swimming around my head.
I like the movement.
Oh, there's so many cool little chopped up details.
Oh, I really like this. I think this one's my favorite out of all of them, including mine.
Wow, Jesse, yeah.
This is really nice. It's like if Flume and Fortet had a baby. This is so dope.
Now, I can listen to this every single day.
So much atmosphere. I really like the combo of that dirtier bass tone with these high sort of chimey sounds. Really cool.
That was dope.
Wow, you won. Hats off. This is sick. I started with the original sample just to give a little introduction so everyone knows what the material that we used was. And I put it in a simpler and basically just started pitching it around. And in the back, I put the same sample into granulator, bringing up this beautiful chord as like a little pad in the background. And then we start. So everything here is from the original piano sample except for the drums. I even made a shaker loop out of the original sample. So that used to be only the piano sample. So without the effects that I added, it just sounds like this. So then with erosion, frequency shifting, multiband, expanding, another EQ, and an auto pan, it sounds like an actual shaker. So this is basically what I did for every sound in this, like just heavily process the piano like crazy. For example, the main bass here, that's also just the piano. It's just playing that low note and then all these effects on top. The process behind all these basses is basically all the same. It's lots of distortion, filtering, and compression to kind of get the sound I was looking for out of whatever the input signal is. These little fills in here, those are also just single notes from the piano. I tried to make risers, like little impacts and swooshes from the sample as well. So it's just playing a little excerpt of the original sample. It keeps playing this little loop, but it goes faster and faster if I go higher with the pitch. Then in the middle, we have this little build-up. It's the original sample again, but this time with a frequency shifter on it to make it sound a little more spooky. And then it kind of turns into a riser. Those drums are not made from the original piano samples, so I just had like a kick and a snare up here, and some cymbals, some snaps. Then the main bass in here is also some effect craziness. It's an auto filter with a very small bandpass and lots of resonance, then being run through a bit crusher that creates this kind of oi, yo, yo effect.
I'm kind of scared of this one. The transients are like massive.
Just opens with the whole sample.
I like how you processed that.
Oh, wow. This is crazy good.
Very intense.
Alright. You gotta be kidding me.
I don't know how he does this.
Oh my god. Ah, it's like so dystopian. Here we go, here we go.
Oh my god.
That is so mean.
This changed to a completely different song.
Oh my god. It just opens right back up. Yeah, I like these little tingly bits.
Really cool syncopation there.
It's so filthy, but it's so clean.
Like, multiple emotions at once.
Whoa.
Wild.
That was interesting. It's like 4 different songs into one song.
That was like a roller coaster mixed in with every other ride at the theme park.
Alright, so as usual, what I like to start with is just chopping out the parts of the sample that I think are the most interesting or that I know how I want to work with. I knew I wanted this low note as kind of an anchor, you know, it just has the most bass to it. It kind of gives us some harmonic context. It starts this riff that I ended up coming up with. And sometimes on the end of that, for a variation, I reversed one of the chords and did a little pitch automation down on it, so it sounds like this. And then I layered another run on top of that. And that brings us to the second way that I work with the sample, which is a new section where I just took some chords and pitch shifted them around to come up with a chord progression. And this is one of my favorite things about sampling material that has chords, is that you end up coming up with a progression that you otherwise wouldn't have by taking what's available, but also pitch shifting it around and seeing what works, trying different registers, trying different combinations. It's a really different way of coming up with chord progressions compared to like trying to play them on an instrument. So here's what I ended up coming up with. And one of my favorite little tricks that I'm doing here is when you have a held chord, sometimes I like to chop it to just half as long as I need and then reverse it and use the reverse copy as the second half, so it kind of swells into the next chord. So that's everything I did with the sample. I kind of came up with my 2 different song sections first, and then I just built around that with different instruments. So I played some drums in, and then I wanted to double what the piano was playing with some guitar. It just felt like for the vibe I wanted, having a guitar doing that melody line along with the piano would feel really good. I also pulled out the old upright bass to put a bass line on this. Later in the track, I play in some lead lines on the super dreamy Matrix Brute synthesizer. I love you. And then for some final little touches that I actually think add a lot, I added some sound effects and little vocal chops in. Both these sound effects are designed in Ableton's Operator FM synth. There's a little rise. I also made this laser beam sound. And then I just went on Splice and grabbed a couple of little vocals like, yeah, that one gets you hyped, and then a couple yeahs. Yeah. And those are all the layers of my track. Have a listen.
Excited. dope. That was really fun.
Oh, I love the ending.
All right, thanks for watching, sharing, subscribing. All the tracks are available for a free download. That's linked in the description, and I'm also linking to all the producers as well as Nahre. I think some or all of the other producers are going to be posting their own more in-depth walkthroughs of their tracks on their channels as well. Yeah, I think that's it. Have a good one.